Keep away from that gun.
I think it's Calhoun.
Why, that's not him, boy.
Yeah, you're right. It's getting so I think every lone rider comes into town is Calhoun.
When he comes, we'll be right here to meet him, Frank.
Morning.
Morning.
My name is Sam Buckhart. I'd say you're Max Chaffee.
That's right. Frank Anderson, my deputy. Heard about you, Marshal, but never had the pleasure of a meeting. What brings you to Clay Junction?
Looking for a man.
What's his name, Mr. Buckhart?
Man named Fallon. Pete Fallon.
Why don't you rest yourself here in my office, and I'll be with you directly. I'm just, doing a little fixing on my gun.
You got a clean-looking town here.
We're proud of it, Mr. Buckhart. Frank, why don't you take the marshal's horse? You better ease up, boy.
What are you gonna do?
I've handled things up to now.
Well, you better stop rubbing that elbow, then. First I bring you my troubles. Now you got this thing to tangle with.
I've tangled with it for 4 years. Buckhart will be sent on his way just like all the rest. You won't find Pete Fallon. Sit down, Marshal.
Something bothering you, Deputy?
You're an observing man, aren't you?
It's something one acquires.
Yes. You might say he's expecting a showdown with a friend. Having to wait out something like that has a way of getting under a young man's skin, you know. He needs a little mellowing. So you're interested in Fallon?
About 4 years.
I never did see a poster on him. What's he look like?
He's about 6 feet tall, 180 pounds, blue eyes, light hair.
That could be half the population of this town, including our banker. It could also be me.
He carries a gunshot scar on his right elbow.
Hello, Max.
Nora, come in.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that you were busy.
It's all right. Mr. Buckhart, this is my wife.
Pleased to know you, ma'am.
It's very nice to know you. I brought the first bloom of the season. When we were married, I carried forget-me-not. It's become sort of a ritual with us. Every year, I give my husband the first bloom.
Each year, I thank my loving wife for this token of our perfect life.
He's a terrible poet, but a wonderful husband. Well, you're busy and I should leave. Perhaps you'd like to have dinner with us, Mr. Buckhart?
Oh, I'd like that, ma'am, but I'm not sure of my plans. Thank you.
Of course. Then I'll say goodbye.
Bye. Lovely woman. You act like childhood sweethearts.
Yes, I wish we had been. We've only been married 4 years. About that gun scar on Fallon's elbow. Looks as though that's all you have to go on. How'll you be able to tell? I mean, men just don't go around rolling back their sleeves.
Well, it's true. It's not much of a trail.
Well, I wish I could help you, Marshal, but I... Now, wait just a minute. There was a man came through here a couple of weeks back, trailing south riding a bay colt. He had a scar on his right elbow. I saw him stripped down for a hot bath over at the barber shop. I'm afraid that's the best I can do for you. Probably wasn't even your man.
Might not be. I was noticing. You're right-handed, but you use a left-handed draw.
Well, I had a run-in with an outlaw a couple of years back. The bullet creased my shoulder. It never healed too good, and kind of slowed down my right hand a bit. Perhaps you'd like to see it.
The only scar I'd like to see is on Fallon's elbow.
Then you'll be leaving shortly.
Well, that's not definite. When people learn the reason why I'm in this territory, it might jog them into remembering something they haven't thought of for a while. You might even recall something yourself. I'll see you.
Ain't I? How come Calhoun isn't with you?
What's your business, mister?
Tell him, deputy. You know what you done running out on us the way you did after that last job? Calhoun had to take his kid brother along against his better judgment. He's lying up there paralyzed with a bullet in his spine, county you.
I was talking to you, mister. What do you want?
Nothing yet.
His name's Egan. He's Calhoun's right-hand man.
Yes, sir. That's what I am. His right-hand man. You sure made a mistake quitting us, kid. We're doing real good now. Plenty of money, fat bellies. Girls like these silver conchos. Now we're taking care of you.
All right. You found me. Now you go back and tell Calhoun I'm not coming back.
Well, we don't want you back. But Calhoun's gonna be pleased to know that you was where he thought you was.
There'll be no gunfighting in my town. Anderson's under my jurisdiction. Now you ride on out of here.
Get away from the horse.
I give the orders in my town, Mr. Buckhart.
Granted. But I'm looking for a man named Fallon. You answer his description enough to have a look at your right arm. Roll up your sleeve.
That's one thing to wear a star, Marshal. Another thing to back it up.
Roll up your sleeve. It's all yours.
Get out.
I ain't through with you yet.
You're through.
And you'll get yours, too. Nobody leaves Calhoun. We'll be back before sundown.
said they'd be back before sundown.
Max?
It's all right, dear. Nora, I'm asking you to go home.
Oh, Max, please.
Nora, what did you promise me?
I know All right.
I'm sorry you had to see this, Mr. Buckhart. I was hoping you'd be on your way before it happened. I've been expecting it for days.
I didn't mean to interfere if there's anything I can do.
I'm much obliged, but this is my show now.
No, it's not. It's mine. You've done all you can.
We'll handle it together, Frank. Mr. Buckhart's a guest.
I'm not ashamed to tell him. He gave me a chance to go straight. He put this star on me. I was part of Calhoun's gang a while back, but I got wise, and I quit him when I saw what the end of the trail would be.
Calhoun doesn't quite see it that way.
That's right. But when he gets here, I'm going to stand up to him, alone.
You're not lifting a gun, Frank, and nobody's accusing you of being afraid.
Look, this is my quarrel.
Now you look. You obey my orders and get into that office. Frank's made his mistakes, but he's got a chance coming. And I'm gonna see that he gets it.
My sentiments.
You didn't really think Egan was your man, did you? You thought there'd be trouble I couldn't handle. You're not leaving town, Frank.
You got enough trouble.
Buckhart's not even sure I'm alive. I've already put him on a wild goose chase.
I wouldn't count on that.
Now look, you run now, Calhoun will find you someplace else, and he'll kill you.
Listen, just because you rode with my old man once doesn't mean that I can keep leaning on you.
Your old man's dead. You haven't got anybody else. Now you stay in this office till after sundown. Don't want anything happening to you, Frank.
And you better start taking care of yourself. What do you think Buckhart's been doing so long in that newspaper office?
You say this goes back 4 years?
Yes, sir. Those ledgers do. You looking for anything special? Maybe I can find it for you.
How long you been here, George?
About 6 months.
Afraid you can't help me then.
Something I can help you with, Marshal?
There might be. They say a lot of good things about you. You run a clean town.
George, why don't you let me watch the office for a while? I'll call you when we leave.
Yes, sir.
Is that how you spend your spare time? Reading up on what this town thinks about me?
Not exactly. You said you had a run-in with that bandit a few years back, the one who crippled your right shoulder. They mention just about everything else about you, but they don't mention that.
Probably wasn't worth mentioning. Just part of a man's job.
It's possible, but unlikely.
You have it your way, sir. Anything else you'd like to know?
All but one thing.
What's that?
An admission that you knew that Fallon was still in this territory.
Has to pay his bills, sooner or later, doesn't he? I've kept mine unpaid for a long time. What time are you planning that we leave?
I haven't gotten to that point yet. If I walk out of here with you now, we leave Clay Junction to your deputy. I understand you're expecting guests, and you have a responsibility to that boy.
That hardly concerns you.
He'll probably amount to something if he lives. He was young enough to have changed his ways before it was too late.
That's right.
What about your wife?
I told her the truth before I asked her to marry me. So you can have a clear conscience, Mr. Buckhart.
Goes against the grain sometimes. Catching men who make mistakes. Trying to start again.
Is that what they taught you at that Eastern school you went to?
I learned to try to understand something about men.
Wearing that star on your shirt doesn't allow for such sentiment, Mr. Buckhart. If the business hurts, take it off. Manhunting is a sorry game. Often a bitter one. What's your problem, Mr. Buckhart?
Let's say we both have one.
Everything's closed up. I told everybody to get off the street. They said it was your orders.
Good.
What about Buckhart?
What about him?
Well, you were so sure you had him fooled.
I guess I was wrong.
Look, even if you get Calhoun, you haven't got much to look forward to now.
Get inside.
Look, let me handle Calhoun. If Buckhart's fool enough to wait for you, you can get out the back. You can pick up a horse at Fell's Crossing and be over the border by daybreak.
Max.
I gave orders for people to stay in their houses, Nora.
Frank just told me about Mr. Buckhart. He's taking you away with him, isn't he? Oh, Max, why did we ever stay here?
Because I thought it was safe, Nora. Besides, it was better than running the rest of my life. Perhaps you should never have married me.
Don't say that.
Our life isn't over, Nora.
I don't suppose that there's anything I can do one way or the other.
No, I have a job to finish. Will you go home now?
All right.
my showdown, Mr. Buckhart.
Not 5 against 1, Mr. Chaffee.
Egan here says you warned me to stay out of Clay Junction.
Egan, shut up. Get Anderson out here.
Of the federal government, I order you not to carry this any further.
What you say?
And go ahead and make your play.
Tried to make this a better town even to the end, didn't he, Mr. Buckhart?
Came to thank you for what you've done.
There's nothing to thank me for. Came here to find Fallon, I found him.
I know you found him, but don't
Just
you...
for the record, he was going under the name of Calhoun.
Calhoun?
He died in the street of Clay Junction with a bullet in his heart put there by Max Chaffee.
Chaffee.
He was a good sheriff. I want you to have this. You can wear it with pride.